Hi everyone, sorry for the delay. We have some technical issues with the live stream. We for the first time, so yeah, live. Thank you all for coming out today. I really that it's for the coming, so it's pretty tough to get people in one place and think and demonstrate something. Actually, today is like some kind of mini anniversary for us. We started the event almost a year ago, actually more than a year ago. And the first event was actually here. Like 50 guys talking about the GrowthHackers. The event really kicked up from that place. And this is our fifth meeting for 1 year. We don't have meetings often, but the community is really active, really vibrant. So please do join our group. It's GrowthHackers Sofia. Huge thank you to Launchcraft and for the clips who brought us today. You guys are awesome. And actually, our special guest today is Ilyana. Ilyana is part of HubSpot, and we talk about PR and how PR resonates with the inbound concept. And actually, PR is something that I'm really good in, and so I would love to hear more from her. So, can you introduce yourself?
Sure. I've got a whole slide about that just to tell you a little bit about my history, where I come from, what I've done so far, why am I standing here for you today. Basically, my name is Ilyana, and yes, it's very Bulgarian. I was born in Pazarjik, and I've traveled today especially for this event. My dad's sitting over there, so thanks to my dad for driving me here. Basically, I'm in Bulgaria just for 1 week, and I'm really excited to be here and to tell you a little bit more about PR. That's kind of my background, but now I work for HubSpot. Sorry. So I am very well familiar with the inbound marketing methodology, so we're going to mix up the two things today, and I really hope that you enjoy the event. Okay, so maybe we can kick it off. So yeah, that's me. That's kind of a big picture, but okay, sorry. But just to get a feel for the audience today, how many of you are startups or work for startups? Just raise your hand. Cool, the majority. How many of you work in PR? Whoa, few people here, awesome stuff, great, cool. How many of you know HubSpot? Almost everyone. How many of you have heard of inbound marketing? Cool, okay, more or less everyone. So probably briefly just about HubSpot. HubSpot is an American company. We offer marketing software and now sales software, so you can do all of your digital activities within one tool, basically. I'm there as a channel consultant. The 1st of December was my first year anniversary working at HubSpot. And basically what I do there is I work with our partner agencies. So here in the room we have two of our partners, so Kickflip. Thanks, Jordan, or Dancho, Lezut, Bulgarian. Thanks for inviting me and organizing this event. And Nikki, thanks for your help as well. And we also have Xsoft here, the two guys who also work with us. I'm based in Dublin. So again, I'm only here for 1 week to visit my family and spend Christmas with them because I couldn't come back here last year because it was in Cambridge where our headquarters are. So basically, briefly about my history. When I was 19, I grew up in Pazarjik. I studied in a foreign language high school, so I learned obviously German and English. And when I was 19, I moved to Germany. I studied there. I won a scholarship. I moved to the UK. I studied there. I worked there. I went back to Germany. I graduated, wrote my second dissertation, published 2 books, started working. And basically, for about 3 years, I had spent about 3 years working in PR and social media agencies across Germany and the UK as well. So really my specialty when I was working in these agencies was social media marketing and blogger relations. So something kind of like new maybe for Bulgaria or maybe not. We'll probably discover that a little bit later when we're having some conversations. And then I was headhunted by HubSpot. So they contacted me on LinkedIn. I was living in Düsseldorf in Germany, working for an agency for one of the largest FMCG brands in the world. And HubSpot just messaged me on LinkedIn saying, oh, well, by the way, we are like a startup, you may have heard of us. I'm like, I know HubSpot, I've been following the blog for years. So yeah, definitely, I'd be interested in hearing more about you. So I got to know the company, and I moved to Ireland. So Ireland is for me, I think it's city number 10, country number 4 in the past 6.5 years since I haven't been living here. I'll be moving on, yes. And there are really 4 things about me. The first one is agency positioning. And what does that mean is, right now at my current job, a job as a channel consultant, I work with our partner agencies. So we've got direct customers, which could be any one of you, if you're not an agency, or it could be just a university or hospital or whatever, and they have their own marketing team and they use HubSpot to do their own marketing on their own. And then on the other hand, we've got our partner agencies. So yes, they do use HubSpot to grow their own businesses with it, but they also become our partners in the sense that they resell our software, and by that, they drive customer success for their own clients. So I work only with our partner agencies. I help them learn the tools. I help them create an inbound marketing strategy. And moving forward, we do stuff like HR, pricing, and positioning. So positioning, when I came on board and started with HubSpot, I noticed that there are a lot of agencies out there, and if you actually open up the website of 5 marketing agencies, you probably read the exact same thing. So there's no way of standing out with regards to data communication. So this is something that I'm very, very passionate about, and I work a lot with my partner agencies to help them really, really stand out among the competition. The other thing is inbound PR, and this is our topic for today, so I'm going to leave it out for a little bit. I'm going to jump into the last one, which is writing. I'm an avid writer. I've had a blog for about 4 years now, and I write a lot about communications and marketing and social media, and obviously inbound as well. When I was 23, I published my first 2 books, and I'm working on my 3rd one, which is going to be about inbound PR, and that's to come next year, hopefully. And then the 3rd thing is insanity. Has anyone here heard of insanity? I'm not talking about the mental illness, okay, just to be people, cool. Well, that's a very intense workout program, so you do it at home. Basically, I wake up at 6 a.m., I do insanity for an hour, and then I go to the office, so definitely addicted to it. You can see my Twitter handle over there. I know it's a weird spelling, very Bulgarian, ILIYANA. Definitely follow me there. I'm all over the internet, so happy to connect if you have any questions. I'd love to meet as many of you as possible later today, but do connect online. Okay, let's get started, yeah? Cool. So here's what we're going to talk about today. What's PR? So what's that in public relations? What is inbound PR? Why inbound PR for startups? How can that help you? And then how do you do inbound PR? I think the last part you're gonna like a lot. Cool, okay. What's PR? Maybe the PR girls or the PR ladies. How would you define PR? Anyone? Volunteers? No? No? Okay, that's all right. Cool. So let's start with really like the textbook definitions. Anything you're gonna read online if you Google what's PR. One of the things that you probably come across is the definition by one of the major PR bodies in the world, and that's the Public Relations Society of America. The way they defined PR, and this is a fairly recent definition coming from, I believe, 2014. Public relations is a strategic communication process that builds mutually beneficial relationships between organizations and their publics. I know, sounds different. And here's another one. That's from the Chartered Institute of Public Relations. That's the biggest PR body based in the UK. So you could say that the UK and the US PR industries are probably the most developed ones in the world. Public relations is the discipline which looks after reputation, with the aim of earning understanding and support and influencing opinion and behavior. It is the planned and sustained effort to establish and maintain goodwill and mutual understanding between an organization and its publics. So again, a heavy definition, but what comes probably here as most important really is the fact that PR is trying to build mutually beneficial relationships with various publics of a company. So maybe something to make it easier to understand. I'm assuming a lot of you know what advertising is, so that's kind of like a very easy way of defining PR. Advertising is saying you're good. So it's very pushy, it's very selling. PR is getting someone else to say that you're good. PR people normally work with the media. They create the stories, they write the press releases, and then the journalists, well, most of the time republish those stories. And so basically PR people use journalists as intermediaries to share that organizational message with those various publics or audiences. Let's call it audience because it's a target audience. And that has been the notion for PR for the past, let's say, 20 to 30 years. Everyone kind of thinks that the only thing that PR people do is to work with journalists. And they just write those press releases and they send them to journalists, and journalists write off and stuff like that. That's not true. It just doesn't work that way. And especially in the digital world, PR is definitely not just media relations. And this is what I'm fighting with my new inbound PR concept. PR people, and anyone really, for PR to be taken seriously as a management discipline, this is what needs to happen. The notion of PR just being media relations has to kind of die. And that's why we have PR, inbound PR. So what's that? Let's dig a little bit deeper into it. This is a graph that I really, really, really love. The blog is called Spinstocks. It's American-based, Chicago, I believe, and it's probably one of the most popular PR blogs in the world, and it's actually a PR agency, and I would say is one of the most forward-thinking and innovative PR agencies in the world who don't only do media relations. So what they've developed is the so-called PSO model. So it spans across 4 different types of media. We've got paid media, earned media, shared media, and owned media. PR and PR people can do all of that. And as you can see, the only part where PR actually does media relations and works with journalists is just at the top part. But with the emergence of digital, you've got the shared, so that's everything that you do with different types of influencers or partnership stuff that you do. You've also got obviously social media. Social media is huge. You've got own media, so your own blog, your own website, your own channels, and this is what inbound PR heavily focuses on. And you obviously have paid media as well. Paid media, but not pushy advertisements on Google, but rather sponsored posts. Native advertising that fits in with the content that you're already creating. It's something that you really want to read and want to consume. So really the thing with PR has been that PR people are great at content creation. A lot of PR professionals, they either study communication or they're actually journalists. They've been journalists and they're moving into the PR field because it's kind of more lucrative at the moment. But PR people have always been great at storytelling. They're amazing at content. They know the audiences. They know how to craft that content so that it's consumed and that it gets read. But they suck at measurement. Google anything about PR and measurement, and you'll find everyone trashing the PR agencies for their inability to show results. How do you actually quantify that piece in this magazine that you wrote a press release for? You sent it to a journalist. He or she then published it, and how does that relate to actual results, to sales? How can you quantify that? It's hard. Same goes for online as well. But with the digital world and focusing on the inbound methodology as well, you'll be able to do that. So inbound PR solves for these 2 issues. One is content, the other one is measurement. How to do the measurement bit? The whole thing makes a lot of sense, actually. So you just follow the inbound marketing methodology. A lot of you already said that, you know what this is, and I'm hoping that some of you are already doing it. I know for a few people. So the inbound marketing methodology is pretty straightforward to follow, actually. And this is something that you can definitely do with PR as well, to allow you to measure all the impacts of all that content that you're creating. So you've got your attract stage, where you've got visitors who come to your website, you attract them with your blogs and with your social media posts, and obviously with SEO and keywords. Then you convert them with call to actions that are leading to landing pages where you offer them like an ebook or a white paper, something that's useful, something that's helpful. They fill out the form, they convert, they become a lead. You've got them as a contact in your database. You have their email. You can engage with them further on. And you do that with email marketing. Actually, email marketing today does wonders. It really does work. By that, you nurture all those people, you share with them more and more and more valuable content, you show them that you're an expert, you educate them. And they very naturally become customers in that way. But it's important to remember that it doesn't end at that stage. It's very important that you're delighting your customers. What that means is that you're constantly continuing to educate them and give them more and more valuable information. Why? Because acquiring a new customer is about 3 times more expensive than it is to sustain an existing. So long term, it's just sustainable. And yes, here we go again. So really, my new concept makes total sense. It's just combining the email marketing methodology with the strengths of PR, with your content creation. So here's my definition of inbound PR. That's just come along over the past few months. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But basically, inbound PR combines the best of 2 worlds. So public relations and inbound marketing. It alleviates PR's biggest weakness, which is measurement, and also inbound's biggest challenge, which is content. And why am I saying that? Because I've worked with over 100 agencies over the past 1 year since I've been at HubSpot. And I've realized that it's actually the more traditional marketing, advertising, or web development agencies who struggle with content creation. Why? Because they're not built like that. It's not their education, it's not their background. Few people, on the other hand, that's what they do. They tell stories with content. How did this whole thing happen? So again, it was kind of like a natural progression over the work that I've been doing and my passion for PR and my background for PR. I've been writing about PR for over 4 years now. And now that I've worked with so many agencies so far, and I just realized that inbound makes perfect sense for PR agencies. Mainly for these 2 reasons that we've already been discussing, so the content part and the measurement part. And I started writing a lot about that. So I did that on my blog, and I'm also doing that now on LinkedIn. And it's getting traction. It's getting a lot of interest. I've written a guest blog post about inbound PR for Hop Online. They're sitting in here today. Other blog posts as well. People are sharing it. People are asking questions about it. So it looks like it makes sense. And then a few months ago, I was approached by a lady called Sarah. She works in the UK. She runs a PR agency. And she said, look, we're crowdsourcing a book about PR. This book is supposed to be the go-to management guide for all PR managers, companies, and communications teams really. And I found your blog post about inbound PR, and I thought this is super relevant. It's very new, and it's something that makes total sense, and people should use it. How about you write a chapter for us? I'm like, yeah, sure, it's a whole book. I'd love to write a chapter for you. So this is another thing that happened. So again, the concept really is picking up. If there's one thing you should remember about the concept is this. Content plus measurement equals inbound PR. Cool. So for all the startups sitting here or the people working in startups, why should you use it? Does any of that sound familiar? So I don't know PR. I'm assuming that's relevant for the majority of you, apart from the people who work in PR. Probably don't know or didn't know public relations until now, not much. If you're a startup, you probably don't have the resources, no internal, there's no one internally who can do it, and you probably can't afford an agency. You don't know any journalists or media influencers out there, so how are you supposed to do it on your own, right? But then the problem is you're a startup, you're very new as well, no one knows you. You need to generate that awareness. You do need PR. How do you do it? So you can't really go the traditional route. Go for the inbound route. Why you should do that? So again, as mentioned earlier, inbound PR is not just about the media. And PR today shouldn't be just about the media. It should be about you doing your own PR on your own channels with your own content. Why? Because we've changed. Consumers have changed today. The way we actually buy products and the way we make decisions is completely different than it was a few years back. With the emergence of digitals, everything is totally different. When I go and buy something, I probably do my research. I go to Google, I search for whatever that is. I'm going to read a few blog posts. I'm going to read a few recommendations on social media as well. I'm going to reach out to my friends. I'm going to tweet it. Like I'm famous for tweeting whenever I'm unhappy with a, let's say, Lufthansa or EasyJet or whatever that is. Like I'm all over Twitter, trashing them. Yeah. But anyway, so that's how we make decisions today. 80% of the buying decision happens before someone actually speaks to a salesperson. Or let's not call it a salesperson if you're a smaller startup, before someone actually speaks with any one of you who works at the company. It's all online. You're gonna read all of those blog posts. You need to feel that you actually, that this person, that this business out there is understanding your problem and they can really solve it. And you can do all of that with PR, with your own content that's foundable there and that's helpful. If you're not online, you don't really exist. And that's how inbound PR can help you. And something for you to think about and remember, and I know that Bulgaria still functions a little bit differently, but at the end of the day, outbound still interrupts. Advertising here and there just doesn't work anymore. We don't want to be interrupted. I want to consume content in my own time, and I want to consume the stuff that I really want, the stuff that really interests me. I skip advertisements and things like that. It just doesn't work for me. With inbound, it's exactly the other way around. Because you're attracting people, you're attracting them with the content that they want to consume. So think about it next time. Okay, most exciting part. How do you actually do inbound PR? I'm going to give you a lot of tips here, and I hope you find them useful and you go home and then you try and test a few of them. There are really 7 key steps to doing inbound PR and making sure that you run inbound PR campaigns. And when I speak of inbound PR campaigns, I probably recommend at least 4 per year, and we're gonna dig a little bit deeper into that later on. But the very key thing here is to nail your buyer personas. So, do you have a volunteer who wants to define a buyer persona? What's that? Anyone? Go. No. You go. Come on.
This is the representation of your ideal customer.
Exactly. So it's the representation of your ideal customer. Who is it that actually you want to do business with? Who's that? Basically, that's your strategy. This is the very first key thing. Then define the buyer's journey. What's the buyer's journey? The buyer's journey really is the process that buyer persona goes through before making the decision that they want to work with you or want to buy from you. Then you create your content plan once you know who you're actually writing content for. You promote that content, very important step. Do some inbound media relations here, but notice the word before media relations. It's inbound media relations. Media relations the inbound way. You nurture all those leads that you've generated, and this could be applied to media content as well. And then you measure the results, and you go back to it again. So we're going to go through each one of those here. Speaking of buyer personas, how are you going to create that ideal presentation of that ideal customer? By doing some research. It's as simple as that. So here's an example of our own buyer persona. This is Marcus and Mary. We at HubSpot, we know that we need a professional marketer, a little bit older with a lot of experience, so she or he would be a VP or director or manager of a mid-sized company. He or she would have his or her own marketing team of 1 or 5 people. They have a BA and an MBA. We've got a little bit of the demographics here as well, so we know she's a little bit older, experienced, she's married, she's got kids. Okay, so we know who we're actually dealing with, and that's our ideal customers. We don't work with small businesses, and we don't work with enterprise customers. It's mid-size for us. That's what matters, okay? And the 2 very important things with marketing Mary, and for us to know what type of content we can create and we should be creating for her, are her goals and challenges. This is very, very key. So the goals, the challenge, the pain points, and the challenges. So she needs to be able to support her sales department with collateral and obviously with leads. She needs to manage company communications, and she needs to build awareness. But it's just way too much to do. She just doesn't have the time nor the resources internally to do that, and she probably doesn't even know how to do it. She's got way too many marketing tools here and there that are not speaking to each other. So everything is a big mess, which is stopping her from reaching those goals. And this is something that you need to have for your business as well. We've got one main buyer persona. We do have two other ones that are not really our focus, so it's okay that you have more than one particular buyer persona. That's fine. But then bear in mind that for each of those buyer personas, you have different buyer's journey and you need a separate content plan. Because all of your buyer personas, each of your buyer persona is asking different questions and you need to be able to answer those in content. So over the last year working at HubSpot and again helping over 100 agencies and their customers as well, we've been digging deep into buyer persona creation and really nailing them and defining them, and I've come to the conclusion that these 10 key questions are essential for you to build a very strong persona that's going to help you then obviously define the buyer's journey and move into your content plan creation. So the first one is, who's going to be interested in our content? Who's actually going to read a blog? Are those people really the people that we want to be doing business with? It's not always the same 1 and 2. Like for example, probably a lot of you are reading the HubSpot blog, but a lot of you are not going to become customers for various reasons. Who are your buyer personas and what are they really like? So here we go into more like the demographics and job titles, the hobbies, exactly what is it that they do? What does a daily life look like? So what does a VP do? What does an assistant do? Who really is the decision maker? What questions are they asking? Very, very key. What are their goals? What are their pain points? And what are their challenges? Because that's what we want to be solving with our content. What are they looking for when making buying decisions? Do they want to read the blog or do they want to speak with you personally? And where do they go for information? Again, are they even active online? Do they go on Google? Do they read blogs? Do they use social media or not? Are they only on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn, etc.? You need to know all of that in order to place the content at the right time on the right networks. How do you develop your buyer persona? That's a question that I always get asked. Obviously, you can assume all of those stuff. You can analyze your existing customers and try and answer all of those questions. But what really works well is to actually interview your existing customers. So pick up the phone and tell them, look guys, we really want to help you. We really want to understand you better. We really want to serve you better. We really want to solve your challenges better. Do you have like 10 minutes to talk to me? And you walk them through all of those questions. If you want to go deeper, do a survey. Put it out there for like 50 people. You can do the same thing with potential customers, and it really does work. Like give them a little bit of an incentive. Tell them actually doing research in that field. It's going to be super helpful. Like we're serving 50 people. It's just for our B2B startup company or whatever. We want to learn more about the B2B startup scene in Bulgaria. So this is going to be a research. Awesome for you because you're gathering so much information. You can put it in a white paper and you can publish it on a landing page and convert leads on. So there you go, you're doing your own research and you're putting it out there. It helps you and it helps them. And then comes the buyer's journey. So the buyer's journey, again, is the sales process that someone goes through from being a visitor to your website to becoming an actual customer. And this is something that many people forget. I would say that this is almost as equally important as nailing your buyer personas. Why? Because, again, when I make a purchase decision, I go through different stages. So I'll do my research first, and then I'm going to talk to my friends, and I'm going to read a little bit more, and then I might speak to a salesperson, or I might go to the physical store, or whatever that is. You need to be able to know and understand all those different moments of truth, as we would call them. So the buyer's journey has, the way we define it at HubSpot, has 3 stages. So the first one is awareness, second one is consideration, and the last one is decision. So the awareness really is the problem stage. This is the what. What's my problem? What's your buyer's problem? So here you really want to attract and educate people. So you really want to answer the questions that mainly start with what. Moving into consideration, you want to give them the solutions. So consideration really is the how. So we've got the problem, we've got the what and awareness. We need to move into the how. And moving towards the decision stage, your content needs to become more and more and more valuable. And a decision really is the point where you start talking about yourself and your services and your product for the very first time. My recommendation is to keep the decision stage content about 20%. So it's the same as, I'm sure that a lot of you have heard, the 80-20 rule that applies for social media is the exact same thing here. So educate your customers, give them something, okay, before you try selling something. And just to reiterate here, if you have more than one buyer persona, you've got more than one buyer journey. You have a buyer's journey for each one of those. Once you have those two stages, those two things done, you need to create your content plan. And a very easy way of actually doing that is to map your content per buyer persona for the buyer's journey. So we've got persona marketing Mary here, and we are defining her awareness stage, her consideration stage, and the decision stage. And for each one of those, we identify blog posts that we can write. You obviously have all of that packed in with relevant terms and keywords. You define content offers, so you create ebooks or white papers or webinars or events like this, even. You should have put that on a landing page. And then you convert your leads, you've got some contacts there. And you continue nurturing through all of those stages. And once you actually have those ideas in mind, that's a lot of content that you can be publishing. So this could be your content plan for the next few months. So drill down at least one content offer per stage, have like 2 or 3 or 4 blog posts to promote that, and there you have it, a few months going forward. This is what the lead conversion process looks like when we speak about it at HubSpot. So this is what you're gonna do once you have your content plan ready. So you have defined your content offer. So in this stage is more about like consideration. So we've got a how-to guide, how to empower your employees. It's an ebook. I'm assuming we've written a blog post about it somewhere, and we put a call to action over there. So that awesome image, which tells me that I can download this free guide, I can see what it looks like, I know exactly what I can expect. So this is very, very, very key when we're speaking about the conversion process. That consistency needs to be happening throughout. So I'm seeing that call to action, I know what to expect. I go to the landing page, I see the exact same copy, the exact same image there as well. So my expectations have been met. And I'm going to convert. I'm going to fill out that form, and I'm going to become a lead. And then I'm going to be brought to a thank you page where I can download that book and read it right now. But I also know that these guys are going to send me a follow-up email because, like, I don't know, I might be busy right now and I might be on the fly somewhere on the tube or whatever and reading through it, and someone rings me. So my process is completely broken, but I know that they would have followed up with an email. So I'll open up my inbox, and there you have it. Your ebook is in there again. And I can reach out to Sarah here who sent me the email if I have any further questions. Cool. Set. And then comes content promotion. So you've got all those blog posts and you've got all those landing pages up and running. You gotta promote that content. It's just way too much noise out there. It doesn't matter how awesome your blog post is, or your ebook, or white paper, or webinar, or whatever. No one's gonna find you, regardless. Like SEO, yes, it does work, but you have to be heavily promoting your content if you want people to consume it. And by heavily promoting, I mean continuously, all the time. What I'm seeing mainly with all of my customers is that they publish a blog post, they put a landing page out there, they shared it once or twice on Twitter, and we go on Facebook or LinkedIn or whatever, and that's it. Nothing happens. You should be promoting all that content monthly and weekly if we're speaking about Twitter, depending on how much you post there. So if you're posting 4 times, if you have 4 blog posts per month, you should be sharing them on Twitter at least once monthly. Publish it, put it online, schedule your social media messages for the next 6 months for that exact same piece. Don't forget about promoting that evergreen content, because it's actually evergreen content that's bringing you way more leads and way more traffic. On my personal blog, the best performing piece right now is something I wrote back in February. And I continue to promote it. Probably a tweet is going to go live like next week. Don't forget about constant content promotion. And speaking of content promotion, yes, do use Peso. So use the whole model. Use earned media. We're going to talk about that in a bit. Use all social media. So yeah, do play around with Instagram and Pinterest and Google Plus and Periscope. I don't know if anyone's Periscoping this year. It's cool. Do it. Try it out. Own media. Yes. Do blog. Blog works. It does take time, and you do have to be very patient for that to show true results. But it does work. We've been preaching that since 2006, and right now we are a 1,200 people company with offices around the world. Yes. It does work, it does make sense, just because consumers have changed. Use paid media, why not? Try it out, it's relatively cheap. Facebook works. At my old agency, when basically we were promoting all of the Facebook posts. So we posted 3 times per week. It was a beauty brand, so Facebook was very key for us there, but we were pushing absolutely every post with what we paid, and it worked. Speaking of inbound media relations, so let's get to it. So something very typical for PR, we discussed that today, media relations. How do you do media relations the inbound way? So there are 8 key steps here, and I've written an extensive blog post about that if you're interested. The first one really is to do your research. It's the exact same thing as with buyer personas. You should be approaching the media the exact same way as you're doing your buyer persona research, your buyer's journey, and your content creation. So who are those people that we're targeting? Are they actually going to meet our goals, and are they really the right people? So stalk them online, check them out on Twitter, look at what exactly they're publishing and what channels. Do they have a personal blog? Do they publish for more than one newspaper or magazine? What exactly are they writing about? Are they really the right people? Once you get to know them a little bit better, get creative with your outreach approach. So is really email always the best way to pitch a journalist who probably receives like 1,000 emails per day? Sometimes it's not, sometimes it is. But while you're doing your research, you can figure that out. So if you see that they're super active on Twitter, why not choose them just a quick tweet? And even as you don't have to be a PR person to do that. Just tell them, look, we've got an amazing case study here. Would you be interested? I can send you something. What's your preferred way of talking to me? It's as simple as that. Just ask the question. For others, you might check out their LinkedIn profile and find out that in their profiles there, they've written, oh, well, actually, my preferred way for you, if you have a story, just send me an email on this email. Or on this email address. So some of them will be like that. But you're going to figure that out when you do your research. And that ties in with the third part. Don't be spammy and don't overdo it. Like if you tweet them once, if you send them one email, if they don't respond to you, they're either busy or they're not interested. That's it. Just leave it there. And create remarkable content. So again, like inbound PR is a lot about content creation. It's a lot about your content as well. So your content needs to be enticing, it needs to be helpful, and it needs to be interesting. It's the same for your customers as it is for your journalists. Journalists receive so many pitches per day, and a lot of it's the same. So try and actually stand out. Use emotion in your stories, not that much of a structure. Experiment with the types of formats here. So, for the PR people here, press releases, you always have like first sentence, you always answer that the 5 questions, where, what, how, and all of those stuff. So pack it in one sentence, and then you follow your structure and you drill down a little bit more. Get a little bit more creative. Try something new. Put a video out there. Get an infographic or whatever that is. Make it more enticing for them, because journalists are used to that. How are you going to stand out? Do it differently. And again, don't forget your own content and channels. Why? Because yes, let's say you pitch a journalist or even a blogger. So it could be a blogger or any type of influencer. If they're somewhat interested in your story and they're open up your email or check out your tweet or whatever, the first thing that they're going to do, they're going to go onto your website or your social channels or whatever, and they're going to research you. They're going to stalk you just as your customers are. So make sure that you have content on your website that's consistent with whatever it is that you're pitching. You can even create your own newsroom. So why not have 2 things? You've got your blog where you're publishing the pieces that educate your customers, so this is very much buyer persona relevant. And you've got your newsroom, which is very much media persona relevant. So there you put all of your press releases or all of your stories and all the things that are about you, not about your customers, that need to go into the blog. Something to think about. And that ties in with the next part, which is making it easy for journalists to get in touch with you. You put all of your contact information in your newsroom there, and they know at any time they can get in touch with you that way. And on that newsroom, you pack in all of your content throughout, the past months or whatever. You build up some sort of expertise, and journalists know how to reach to you and what to reach to you for, because they consider you an expert based on that remarkable content that you've created. And share your content, share their content. Be nice to them. Like, they're writing about you. Why not share that piece? And why stop there? Share the other things that they're actually writing. Try and build a relationship with them. Comment on the stuff that they're publishing. Share their stories with your networks as well. Do them a favor, and they're going to remember that. It's a nice gesture, and at some point, maybe not next month, but in 6 months' time, they will have a story, and they'll remember you, and they'll come back to you. Just like that. I'm getting a little late and I'm sharing a lot of stuff, guys, but I promise there's not too much left. But here's another important thing that you should be doing. It's nurturing. You should be doing that with your buyer personas and your media personas as well throughout the entire marketing methodology. And here the point that I really want to make is, again, if you have 2 different personas, you have 2 different journeys there. So enterprise Erin, she works in an enterprise company. Her pain points and challenges and needs are very different than owner Ollie's, who's a small business. So you need to have a separate nurturing process for them. You nurture them with emails, and that works, that does wonders, yes. But the email you send to Enterprise Erin needs to be different than the email that you're sending to owner. How do you figure that out? What do I send to whom? You segment your database. So how many leads do you already have? Has anyone ever gone through that exercise of actually looking at the emails and all the people that have come through your database and that you've already been in touch with? So are they just the lead? Are they marketing qualified lead? Are they sales qualified lead? Are sales really speaking to them? Are they a customer already? If they're a customer, you need to be delighting them with different content. And listen on social media, stop them, check out what they're doing. Segmentation is key, because that way you can use context to personalize, and you can nurture them better. So if we know that our enterprise Erin is a new visitor to our site, I'm not going to offer a consultation right away. That's very much decision stage. She's not there yet. She needs more time, more persuasion. She needs more education. I'm going to give her a free ebook, and that's relevant to her. Why? Because she's enterprise Erin. So she needs the executive guide to enterprise. Great, she loves that, it's relevant to her, it's helpful, she converts. She becomes a lead. I can nurture her further. I can send her an email in a few days. I know she's a lead, she's read their ebook, hopefully she's found it interesting. So I can offer her a free email assessment. Why not? She's probably there already. Let's give it a go. But you personalize based on that. You can't send a new visitor directly the marketing assessment, because they probably don't even know what email marketing is at all. And once you've done that, get your salespeople to use that lead intelligence. So we know the whole history of Enterprise Erin on our website. What was the first blog that she read? What was the first ebook that she converted? And what was the second one? So that whole process of her being and becoming more educated with regards to everything that we're sharing out there. So our salespeople, when they pick up the phone or when they reach out to that person, they know exactly what Erin has done, and they can make it very, very customized, very personal. Oh, great, Erin, you actually read our book about our enterprise guide to email marketing. What do you think? Do you like it? Was that helpful? It's an icebreaker conversation based on that history that you have already in there. And measure everything. So many people forget to do that. Measure everything. How your blog posts are performing, how much traffic is coming, which sites and then networks that the traffic is coming from, how your landing pages are converting, what about your social media messages, which networks are working best and bringing you the most traffic, but then also the most leads. These are 2 different things. Measure campaign-based, but also use Google Analytics. Track that all the time, like track it weekly if you can, at least monthly. And make sure that every 3, 6, and 12 months, you sit down and spend a few hours analyzing all that content that you have and all of the activities that you've done to see what actually works and where you can optimize and what you can do better. It's incredible how much you learn just by sitting there and analyzing everything that's happened over the last 3 months. It'll give you a lot of insights on what to do next. Okay. So, a lot of talking, I know. Now comes the best part. So I know a lot of you are startups, and I've shown you a lot of slides with regards to HubSpot, and all of that we spoke about today, you can do it through HubSpot, obviously, but HubSpot is an expensive system. How can you do it without HubSpot? So here's my suggested list for tools that you can use for everything that we've discussed today if you don't have HubSpot. Majority of them are free tools, and yes, I know it's a lot of tools and it's not just one and whatever, but the hard part is just learning them and setting them up, and then your machine is just up and running. So yes, it's a learning curve, but it's a learning curve with any software, whether only one or whether just multiple tools. So for content creation, as to the public, awesome tool with regards to even keywords research. Actually, you just type in a term there and it gives you loads of suggestions. It's amazing. It's like it gives you so many ideas of what types of content you can create once you know the questions and buyer personas there are. Canva for visual, awesome. I love it. I create all of my videos for blogs and for that presentation actually with Canva. WordPress, use it for publishing and for your blogs. Landing pages. Here are a few examples. So use unbalanced lead pages on Instapage. Speaking of SEO and keywords, try the Google Planner, it's free, most as well. For content promotion, monitoring and management, with regards to social media, use Hootsuite. It's great, it's fairly easy to use, and it now has Instagram. When you speak about influencer engagement and media pitching, some of those are paid, but they're really cool tools. You can check them out, and here it's not just like journalists, but you also have like your other influencers, such as bloggers. So try Anistip, Tracker, Iris, another really nice software, Group High as well. When you're speaking about tracking your leads and having like a CRM for free in your database, try LinkedIn. It's actually a new tool. It's like a small version of HubSpot, let's say. It's free. And you can integrate it automatically with MailChimp, which is a free tool to do all of your email marketing. So there you have it, all of your lead nurturing with just these two tools which integrate to each other, so they sync. And do your analysis and monitoring with Google Analytics. I'm sure a lot of you know that. And try TalkWalker. TalkWalker is similar to Google Alerts. So you receive emails whenever someone's mentioned your brand or particular terms that you're interested in. But it's better than Google Analytics. Okay, so we did it. Thanks, guys. Now I hope that was useful. I know I did a lot of talking and like I bombarded you with a lot of information, but again, I hope it's helpful and you can take some of it and apply it on your own and use it for your own business and grow with it. The deck is going to be online. I'm going to receive that. I'm going to write a follow-up blog post as well, and I think we're still recording it. So yeah, hopefully you'll get the recording as well if everyone will listen to me again. And we can open up for questions now. Right? Yeah.
Right, I have to.
Shoot.
Well, what are the good practices or best practices for delighting your customers and monitoring?
Okay. So there are a few things you can do there. So I'm assuming that your business continues to improve and get better, and you continue either adjusting or improving your content, your products, or adding new products. So definitely use email marketing. That works very, very well with existing customers. One thing you can do is inform them about all of the new things that are happening within your business with regards to like new products or new services that they're offering, or adjusted services or whatever that is. So always keep them up to date of how better you're getting and how much more value that's giving them. And then the other thing is quite easy actually. So just send them the blog posts that you just published that are relevant to them and that are useful. Send them a link. They may not have subscribed for your newsletter. That's definitely one thing that you can try. And just an email saying, hey, you know, your customer, whatever, we publish regularly about that topic that's relevant to that product that you.
Is that the case when we inform the white, or rather, you know, PWs as a company?
Okay.
Because this is are open everything to the public and
or whatever that is, put it online. Like make a series with blog posts of your challenges, how you're trying to to solve it and ask people to pitch in and crowdsource solutions. This Twitter, for example, is fantastic for something like this.
Problems with data migration and